The King of All Cosmos is one of Katamari's most beloved characters, due in large part to his phenomenal character design. From the muscular and strong silhouette to the imposing yet still slightly goofy face model to that, his look immediately grabs you and lets you know what kind of game you're dealing with here. And this is in no small part due to his amazing fashion choices, which change every game, giving the king something new to wear. But as iconic as his outfits are, not all of them are on the same level. So today, I'll be ranking these royal outfits from fugly to fabulous. Just a disclaimer, these are my opinions, of course, but I think this ranking is a little more objective than the level ranking since character design is a topic I know a lot about. Also, I'm ranking the design, not the game, so I'll try to discount my personal biases for the games themselves and rank only these outfits on their own. I'm only including the main series games, but before we get there, I'd like to give some honorable mentions to the spin off looks. My Katamari has a great look on its own, but it's brought down slightly by not really matching his headdress color palette. If the greens were changed to blues and the gold was the same gold as his crown, this would be amazing. And speaking of amazing, Amazing Katamari Damacy's look is pretty similar to his Damacy look, but slightly more casual. Not much to say here. Online has a radically different look with an ab window and a yellow color palette, but I'm not really a fan of this one. It's less giving king and more giving pro wrestler. And Rolling Life, though we don't really get to see a lot of it, is cute, and I really like the more digital inspired headdress. I'd also like to give a brief shout out to Robo King, inspired by the Damacy look, but with a more purple color palette and some unique mechanical flair. My favorite part is how the lioness on his belt looks scared. I just think that's really funny. Okay, now on to the main series games, starting with the King's worst look. Me and My Katamari was the first time they attempted to break away from the usual purple and blue color scheme, instead going with a maroon bodysuit with brown sleeves and a yellow cape. First, the positives. I really like this headdress and cape combination. It just looks nice, and the more tropical colors allude to the fact that he was here on vacation. I think that's what they were going for with the outfit as well, but man, not only is it really plain, but it just doesn't match the rest of the outfit at all. Which brings me to the worst part of the outfit and what put it at the bottom spot, these sleeves. The king has just never worn brown because it just does not look good with his alien color palette, and here it horribly clashes with the dark maroon bodysuit and yellow cape. This just does not look good at all. I think maybe if the sleeves were blue, it could have been slight improvement, but still, what an ugly look. Touch My Katamari provides to us the king's most boring design. It's literally just a full gold bodysuit, a belt attached to nothing, and a teal cape, like a superhero that let himself go. So this is technically his default design since he can be dressed up in this game, but I'm including it because this is what's shown on the wiki and in official art. I think the plainness of this one might be referencing the fact that the king's in his depressed era in this game, but this was not the way to do it. And I think this concept would have worked better if this had been switched with another game's look, but I'll talk about that later. It's just unbelievably tacky and doesn't look especially royal, but at least it fits his personality, putting it above me and My Katamari. On its own, the beautiful Katamari design is not terrible, but wow, this does not look like the King of All Cosmos at all. The color palette is completely different here, going into this dusty pink and maroon color with bizarre green dots. And instead of his iconic tights, we have these balloon pants, which are just not nice to look at, doesn't work with the simple poly style and hide his leg shape. The headdress is really cool here, and I like how his lion emblem is on his chest, which makes it a focal point, as well as the ab window and the red cape. It's not a bad execution of this concept, but the concept itself is just not it. He looks like the king of some small European country, not the entire universe. I find it hard to believe that someone like this is so powerful that he could stop a black hole. Okay, hear me out. I think the King's Touch My Katamari and his We Love Katamari outfits could have been swapped. I know that's kind of weird to say about the most beloved and most hated games in the series, but I think this outfit would have been way better for the king when he's feeling depressed. Let me explain. The plot of We Love Katamari revolves around the king pandering to his fan base by making Katamaris for them. Through dialogue, it's made clear that he's desperate to earn their respect as a ruler, and that's the whole reason why this game exists. So, why does this look so much more casual than his first one? One could argue that he's trying to be relatable to the Earth people by incorporating their culture into his fashion choices, but again, his characterization, both in this game and in general, shows that he wants to be revered as a godlike being that is above everyone else. Case in point, since apparently no one in this fandom knows how to read dialogue, He initially doesn't really accept any requests from his fans, but he only agrees when they throw in a compliment. So if we had to use his boring TMK look, it would have been better suited to a game like this where he's playing up the royal "I'm better than you" look. And the same goes for the other way around. These grayish blues and drooping silhouette would have fitted Touch My Katamari because in that game he's sad and it would have been a cute callback to his Damacy look since he's longing for the glory days of that era. This would have been more meaningful if this game's plot wasn't so stupid, but I digress. As for the look itself, yeah, it's pretty good. I like the color scheme and how it expands upon the Damacy design. Speaking of, the one that started it all, and the one that the other games keep referencing. And while I don't think this is the king's best look, it does a lot with a little. First of all, his color palette is really cohesive, and it really gives space colors along with some excellent pops of gold to remind you of his status. The simple shirt and leggings might seem a bit plain, but when you look at the prince and the cousins, especially in this game, yeah, everyone wears this type of fashion, so it doesn't stand out as being boring, but it rather establishes the cosmics as an alien species with their own culture and biology. But he's still appropriate flashy, as his muscles are on full display, showing off his power. The headdress is a recurring element, but I think it's important to emphasize here, as it really makes him stand out and shows that, no, this isn't just some adult cousin, this is the king. Let's hope I didn't take so long with this video that Once Upon a Katamari is already up by now. Yes, the king's newest look is actually pretty great. It's clearly historically inspired, and even though I just said it doesn't make sense for him to dress in Earth fashion, I think it works here since A, they're time traveling to different Earth time periods, and B, the king is canonically a massive weeb, so this Japanese inspired outfit isn't actually out of character in the slightest. I'm not too familiar with the historical significance of this style of clothing, other than it looks very powerful and cool, and I never thought the king would look so good in red. The headdress is excellent as always, and this traditional headpiece being added to his crown was just a brilliant choice because it kind of looks like a halo or the rays of the sun. It is an all-earth fashion though, as some trademark cosmic looks come through here as well. The collar, of course, the tit window, and the glorious return of the tights all blend in seamlessly with the historical side of things. And of course, the red eye makeup and dye blue beard are just iconic to behold. The thing keeping this from snagging the top spot is that there are a lot of colors competing for your attention, and they don't go together in the most natural of ways. But whoever expected the King of All Cosmos to be subtle? No one. That's who. You know what? I did not want to put this at number one, because even though I just said I was not letting my opinion of these games affect the ranking, I did not want my entire repertoire to be 2 videos straight blazing Katamari forever, with another one on the way. But at the end of the day, this is his best design, and before Once Upon a Katamari got revealed, it was not even close. This is the king's ultimate form. For me, a huge loser, it kind of reminds me of final stage magical girl transformations with the all-white, color traditionally associated with purity and holiness like an angel, especially with the blue and gold accents. It makes him look powerful and godlike, yet just slightly intimidating. The gold trim with the flashing lights was a stroke of genius, because not only are they cool, these patterns along with the purple on his stomach guide your eye up through the design through his head, which is decked out in purples, greens, and blues. It's a slight departure from his usual colors, but they still entirely match his look and aura. These frills on the sleeves, and especially this tie thing, are just so fashionable, but the best part is that you can tell they designed this with the character and the story in mind. It looks dreamlike and even slightly uncanny, which is perfect because this game takes place inside his mind. This game is also centered around him as a character, so he can't be out here looking like an absolute goofball. I mean, what else do I say? Just look at it. It's amazing, gorgeous, iconic, everything the king stands for. A perfect King of All Cosmos design. So yeah, that's my opinion on all of the King of All Cosmos fashion choices. I do have another video on the way about Katamari Forever, about how the story is actually a lot more interesting and more depressing than you think once you look into it. So look out for that if you're into Katamari Forever. I do have plans for a lot more Katamari content coming out, so even though I know this is a bit embarrassing, if you're into Katamari, maybe consider subscribing, as I think that I have a lot of stuff planned that you'll really enjoy. Have a good day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!